Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Jennifer Kwapis podcast. I'm so glad you're here today because today we're diving into the real heart of summer break. Not the Pinterest perfect highlight reel, but the messy, meaningful, and slightly chaotic reality that is summer with kids. This episode is your permission slip to not be your kid's personal party planner for the next 10 weeks. We're going to talk about all the fun stuff to do with your kids, yes, but also why it's actually healthy to let them be bored. We'll talk chores, mama self care, and those elusive date nights. And I've actually got a personal story about a simple birthday we celebrated for my daughter that reminded me of what really matters. Okay, everybody, if you're listening, I and hopefully you have officially made it to summer break. The kids are out of school, and hopefully, the summer weather is here to stay and will extend all the way through the month of October since it is just now starting to come into play. Like, where has it been? I don't know. I don't feel like we had a spring, but I will take jumping right into summer and keep this nice, sunny, warm weather. So I'm here. This is me today, hair up in a messy bun. I am right in the middle of finishing a work day, right before I got to get my son to a baseball training and then head out for a golf night with the girls. But we are doing all of the things today. And also, I'm very upbeat and cheery. But if you're listening to this on Thursday, call and check in on me. I might not be okay. My daughter, Brooke, is going to have her very last day of elementary school tomorrow. And it has been a tough hurdle on me. While I'm so excited for her to move on to middle school and all the things that middle school has to offer, it's just such a milestone to not have your baby in elementary school. To move into middle school just seems so big to me, and my heart hurts a little bit. I'm filming this on Tuesday, June 10th. So tomorrow we will be going to her actual graduation ceremony. And then all the parents are going to line up in the bus loop and clap all of the fifth graders out of the school for the very last time, which is so sad to me to even think about. So I hope I can hold it together for her tomorrow. But anyways, again, so excited for her to venture into middle school. Middle school was such an awkward time in life, but so memorable to me. I met most of the best friends that I have to this day in the very middle school that my daughter will be attending. And that is just so exciting. I grew up so much and really learned about me and who I was and what I loved and surrounded myself with some of the best people in middle school. So I just hope that she too has a great experience. And if you have little ones heading into middle school or not so little ones heading into middle school, I feel you, mamas. And some moms are super excited and have no emotion about it, which is great. And some of us are just really struggling to wrap our heads around that. So I'm with you all. And if you need a hug, I'm here for it. All right. So I wanted to think back to my summers as a kid. And while I don't ever remember there being scheduled activities or expensive outings, I do remember the long walks or bike rides along the neighborhood over and over again with my friends, or chasing an ice cream truck like it was a once in a lifetime opportunity, or, going out in the woods and just having a little independence is really what I felt like happened during summer break. And I feel like that vibe has shifted so much in today's day and time. And while sadly, I know it is a different world, I just am struggling to figure out ways to still let my kids feel that independence this summer, but also obviously wanting to keep them safe. So, just a reminder here that that is what your kid's summer is about. You do not have to plan their day to day activities 24/7. Let them let them be bored, let them find ways to entertain themselves because I feel like overstimulated kids are the kids that end up just sitting in front of a computer all day and not going out and exploring and getting outside and being a kid. Somewhere along the way, it started to feel like we as parents have to make summers magical every single day. So I'm here to tell you, guess what? We don't. I did make a list and thought that it would be a fun idea if anybody else wanted to make a list as well and share them with everybody of maybe some things on a summer checklist that I want to do with my kids this summer. So, one of the things I wrote down is to let my kids plan a date night for my husband and I. So, probably just something set up in the backyard, but maybe let them produce the menu and cook it and serve mom and dad and clean up after us like we do when they have their sleepovers or parties at our house. I also want to work on Brooke being able to call and place carryout orders or pizza orders this summer. She is moving into wanting to babysit, which is great. And she is super responsible. But it's recently dawned on me that I've never had her pick up the phone and place an order over the phone. So I'm going to work on that with her this summer so that she gets comfortable doing that and she's able to place those orders. And I know there's apps and an easy button for doing that, but I think it really takes away from the personal interaction that is important for us to teach our kids to be able to have. They order well in person at restaurants and make eye contact and use their manners, but they need to be able to do that over the phone as well. So I'm working on that. Also, I want to play like a water balloon or slip and slide type baseball game with my kids. So that's on our summer list. A backyard movie night, of course. We love our backyard movie nights. I want to go to the beach and play volleyball with the family, and maybe some neighbors and friends will join us. And we can do like a park picnic as well. My kids have added an escape room to the summer to do list, which I've done with coworkers one time before. It was a lot of fun, but we have never done an escape room as a family. So I thought that was a fun idea for us to add to our list. And then lastly, I think I read this somewhere and thought how hilarious and fun it would be that if my subdivision ends up having a garage sale to give each kid like 5 or 10 bucks and send them out in the neighborhood to all the different homes that are having a garage sale to use their money to purchase a treasure and then maybe have a prize for like the best treasure that they bring home. We'll vote on it and that person will win a prize. But just thought that would be super funny because I would love to see what it is they think is a prized piece that they pick up at a garage sale. And obviously, it'll have to be like in our subdivision so I can monitor. I'm not just going to turn my kids loose in some random subdivision to run in and out of people's garages. So I am being safe about it. And you can be too. Okay, so moving on from some of the fun summer activities we can do with our kids, I'm going to say it again that you are not a cruise director. You are a parent, and boredom is not a problem. It's a developmental tool. And while looking this up online, I did see that Dr. Teresa Belton, which she was an expert in creativity and boredom from the University of East Anglia, said boredom is essential for kids to develop their imaginations and creative thinking, which makes total sense, right? Another study I saw was from the University of Mississippi, who found that children who regularly did chores had higher self esteem, greater persistence, and better problem solving skills. So I'm incorporating both of those things into our summer, not over planning their day to day activities, and also giving them chores and responsibilities that I am handing on to them to show them that I trust them with something and that they can contribute to the household as well. And this won't be a huge surprise to my kids. They do have chores and responsibilities around the house, but I am making sure that I'm carrying this through the summer. And we recently bought a skylight calendar, which if you don't have one, check them out, pick one up. I absolutely love mine. If you don't know what a skylight calendar is, you can put everybody's doctor's appointments, sporting events, just everything into this calendar. And there's an app on your phone. So you can edit everything from the app on your phone. If you're an avid Gmail calendar, Apple calendar, whatever user, you can also sync those calendars right into the Skylight app and it will color code everything. So everybody in the family has a color, all of their activities are in that color. And in one easy view, I can see what we have going on that day. But additionally, there is a section for chores or reward, like a point system that you can add into the Skylight calendar. So I am going to try to add all of that into my Skylight calendar this summer. So if on Mondays, I want Brooke to be responsible for unloading and reloading the dishwasher, or let's say Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then Reed has it Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, or Sunday, whatever. I'll load those chores in there and I can even assign stars towards those chores. So if we want to say, my kids love CJ Barrymore's, for example, if I want to say, okay, kids, once you guys have each earned 200 stars, we'll do a night to CJ Barrymore's. And then each chore that I load into the calendar will earn them so many stars to go towards that reward night. So just a thought of ideas on how to organize these chores because I know that can also be more of a chore on us to carry through and making sure that the kids actually are held responsible for the things we ask them to do because I don't think we'd be doing them much of a favor by telling them they have to do certain chores and then letting it fall by the wayside and they don't do them and they get away with not doing them. We're going to form the wrong habits there. So make sure you're following through, make sure you have some sort of system in place. So back to the Skylight calendar, the kids can go and they can check off that they've completed that task right there on the calendar. So I can look and make sure that it's checked off and that it's been done. And like I said, I can assign stars towards each chore. So, we have a greater goal. I'm not one, I don't typically pay my kids for regular chores that they have to do around the house, trying to teach them that we all help each other out as a family. And running this household takes everybody's hands on deck. So that's how we sort of think of it. Now, if it's something above and beyond, like my son is starting to learn to cut the grass, we pay him minimally, but we do pay him to cut the grass if he wants to take that off dad's list of things to do or stuff like that. So how everybody handles it is their own family business. I am not one to sit here and tell you what's right and wrong on how to handle it, but I do think that it's important for them to have shared responsibility within your household, especially during the summer when they're home all day. Playtime is good, responsibilities are good, and some downtime to be creative and find ways to entertain themselves is also a good thing. And just a reminder that chores are giving them ownership over their summer too. And it can be simple tasks on there as well. Like these days, you're responsible for doing lunch for you and your siblings. And then the next day, the next sibling takes on making lunch. So that way, meal planning and lunches are made and done. Maybe they want to set up a family picnic. Great. Find a day and a time open on the calendar, put something in there for a family picnic and plan it together. And then great. I come home, there's an opening, they have everything put together, some sandwiches made, and they're like, hey, mom, want to go on a bike ride? I have sandwiches made and we can have dinner in the park. Awesome. But those conversations need to be had with them so they know that they have that sort of ownership in the game of summer activities and that you're willing to partake in things that they think will be fun and also how wonderful that they want to spend their time doing things with you. So you don't always have to be the one to make the plans. Let them make some of the plans as well, is I guess what I'm trying to say here. And while we are talking about planning, mamas, please remember your summer and your time matters too. So you are the real MVPs of summer moms, and you deserve time for a peaceful cup of coffee and no one saying mom, mom, mom. So let's make sure we're being intentional about self-care as well. Because let's be honest, summer can feel like a nonstop blur. And if we forget we're allowed to pause and that we have needs too, summer is going to pass us by. Some of the things that I'm going to focus on this summer is intentionally setting date nights. Date nights need to be held a little more sacred. While me and my husband go out and have fun, a lot of times those are plans that are made that we're doing things with friends, but I want to simplify it and have those sacred one on one date nights. And it could be simple. After the kids go to bed, maybe my husband and I have a backyard movie night, or we have some wine and charcuterie on the back porch. Or maybe it is something extravagant, going out to dinner or having an actual night out and away. But either way, those are going to be things that I focus on this summer when the sports schedules start to slow down a little bit and we can really make sure that we're focusing on getting some of that stuff in. I also am going to continue to try to prioritize some solo time, taking a morning walk and listening to music or your favorite podcast, making sure you're reading a book. Maybe take that book to the park and go sit somewhere where you're not going to get interrupted or distracted by things going on in the household around you. Maybe go for a drive somewhere or take a walk on a beach. Just whatever you got to do, make sure you are prioritizing some solo time this summer as well. Hey, I'm Jen from the Jennifer Kwapis podcast, and I'm here to tell you about Vire Golf, the bold new force shaking up the golf game with grit, innovation, and relentless energy. At Vire, they believe golf just isn't a game, it's a test of character. Every round is a battle, and they are there to help you face it head on. Driven by resilience and built for performance, the name Vire symbolizes adaptability and strength, a spirit that's always ready for the fight. Whether you're navigating bunkers or battling mental blocks, Vire equips you to play with a purpose. From drone flyover previews that help you strategize your round to performance-driven apparel that moves with you, every Vire product is designed to help you stay sharp, look sharp, and play smarter. Vire isn't just a brand, it's a call to action. Vire is for the first-time weekend warriors and the everyday grinders. They are there for the ones who don't quit after a bad hole, who bounce back, and who fight their way through the back nine and still show up ready to do it again tomorrow. Are you ready to take your game to the next level? Learn more about Vire Golf at viregolf.odoo.com. That's viregolf.odoo.com. We'll see you on the course. So much like this podcast today, which is way less scripted and planned out, I really just feel like there is a movement in the air, and maybe it's just me, but I'm going to say it anyways. I feel like the less is more is upon us, where before I feel like everything was always extravagant and planned out, and a date and a time and a menu and everything was set. The decor to go along with a party was put in place. And I really just feel like there's been a huge shift in my life. And maybe everyone else is feeling that too. So maybe it's a whole movement. I don't know. Maybe I'm just hopeful that it is. But if you have not been feeling that, I'm going to go ahead and say give it a try, because less planning has been more doing for us. I am going to stop striving for perfect and go after just checking the box. And here's what brings this up, okay? The first big thing that happened was my daughter Brooke's birthday. So this year I was feeling guilty that my daughter's birthday was coming up. There was literally hardly any time in our schedule at all. And we weren't planning the big party with the bounce house and the cupcake tower and the sleepover and just all the things, right? We didn't have a family party planned. We didn't have a friend's party planned. And I kept second guessing myself and being like, oh my gosh, like, is she going to be disappointed? Are we going to make her feel special enough? Birthdays are a big deal to me, and I love to make people feel special on their birthday. So what we ended up doing this year is my son had a baseball game. So my husband took my son to his baseball game, and my daughter and I took the evening to go out to dinner. We made a dinner reservation at her choice. And then we did some shopping. And instead of buying her birthday presents, she wanted to just use the money that I would use to buy her birthday presents to go on like a little shopping spree. And you guys, it was so memorable and really, truly special. We went to dinner, just her and I. We had every and anything we wanted off the menu and stuffed ourselves and enjoyed conversation and laughed and had such an awesome time just eating and enjoying one another's company. And then after dinner, we went and walked around the outdoor mall, walked in and out of so many stores. She had, a spending limit that she was given for her birthday. So she went and picked out clothes and all the things that she wanted, cosmetics or face washes. And these girls are so into skincare these days. It's wild, but awesome. So she got a ton of skincare stuff, just whatever. She picked out what she wanted for her birthday, and she walked around with all those bags up and down her arms that she wanted to carry herself. And we just had a blast. And it was really, really special. I felt way more connected to her in so many ways than I would have having a house full of kids or a family full of people in our home celebrating her. And while that is also special, and truly important, that because everybody wants to celebrate your kid, and that is also a gift that there are so many people that want to celebrate her. It just was such a reminder that bigger isn't always better, and that thoughtful and simple can be just as magical as the big parties. So that was the first big reminder and eye opener that I was like, wow, okay, we don't have to plan all the things. It can just be a simple evening of celebration. And she still felt special and has told me repeatedly since that day that that was one of her favorite birthdays that she's ever had. So huge reminder and eye opener there. And then secondly, we planned to go golfing with a couple of our friends. It was just like a random day or two before, like, hey, can you guys go golfing at 4 o'clock on this day? And I looked over at my husband. I'm like, hey, some of our friends want to play 9 holes on Saturday. Can we make that work? And to be honest, he was like, oh man, I don't know. Like we had a baseball tournament that weekend, so he had played Thursday, Friday. He was playing Saturday, but he was going to be done by like, I want to say it was like 1:30 or 2 o'clock. So we were literally going to be coming home, kind of freshening up and turning around and leaving the house again. And he's like, it might just kind of be nice to like take a breather. And I agreed with him, but I also was like, but it also would be really nice to like have a couple hours with our friends and go play golf. So lo and behold, we ended up going and playing golf and had the best time. It was sunny and beautiful out. And then when golf was over, everybody was like, hey, is everyone just going home? And we were like, yeah, we have an early morning. We have baseball again. We have to be there at 8 a.m. or 8:30, whatever it was. We're like, but if you guys want, come back to the house. We'll, go get bring the kids can play for a little bit. We can have another drink and just hang out. And you guys, everybody did it. Everybody went home, got their kids, came back to the house. A few of the neighbors saw that we were, hanging out and having a good time and playing yard games and stuff in the front yard and in the driveway. So they came over, their kids came over, and we had the best unplanned party, I'll call it, get together. It was completely impromptu and it was a blast. It was a blast. I didn't have food and snacks and all the things planned out. We spur of the moment ordered a bunch of pizzas, threw them on a folding table in the garage with some paper plates and solo cups, and people grabbed pizza and we played music. And like I said, we had yard games going. We actually ended up getting on the golf cart and going around the subdivision with different groups of kids and letting them ding dong ditch. It was friends and neighbors and people that we knew. They weren't just going up to strangers' houses. But it was so fun. They were running up to the doors. Everyone has a Ring doorbell, so they're making silly faces and running back to the golf cart, and we're peeling away and just laughing and having the best time. So again, that was another eye opener this week of unplanned, spur of the moment things are just awesome. To live in the moment and make the best out of the moment has been awesome. And that is so outside of my realm of how I usually am. I'm very much a planner and like to have and provide when I invite people over. But man, I'll tell you, like I said, it was one of the best times I had ever had. I wasn't worried about replenishing food inside the house or getting the house cleaned for company or making sure I had all the right snacks. I was outside mingling with everybody and enjoying myself and enjoying my company and the kids playing and having fun with them. And it was wonderful. So, just another reminder on that note that I don't know if it's an era moving on in and we're getting away from all of the big plans, but I will say the less has been more, and being spur of the moment is in for me this summer. So I want to have some more of that. And while we're talking about being in the moment and that spur of the moment stuff, I think I've talked about this before, but I just want to remind everybody again. And that's probably because it's something that I too am still working on and working through. But as a grown ass woman, I'm learning. I'm trying to learn. It is okay to do what I want to do rather than what I feel like I should be doing. I can't tell you the countless conversations I've had with friends and moms at the schools and, just a simple, hey, what are you guys doing this weekend? Or, just passing conversation. And time again, I hear, oh, we're going here, or we have this grad party, or we have this birthday party or family obligation. But man, I really wish we could get out on our boat. Or man, I really just want to have a day at home with my family. We have been on the go nonstop. And it has opened my eyes because everybody is saying it. And I feel the same way. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, why do we do this to ourselves? Why are we so focused and feel so obligated to do the things that we feel like we should be doing instead of the things we want to do? Life is short and time is so precious. And if you are raising kids, you know that the days are long, but the years are short and flying by us. So let's start to think more about what it is that you want to do. Going back to the previous episode where I know I've brought up if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. And I mean that with the utmost respect because while family is so important and supporting your family is very important, it is also really important to support yourself, your children, and your spouse. So if you can't make it, find a way to be supportive. Find a way to send the gift or the card or the flowers and make that person still feel loved and special because you do still love and care about them. But you also have to prioritize yourself and your family. So, there, I said it, and I don't know, I say it and I feel guilt, but it just really doesn't seem wrong. It really seems like I, as a parent, want to make sure that I am prioritizing us. And I also want to make sure I'm prioritizing raising my children to not feel those same stressors and pressure to feel obligated to say yes to everything that you're invited to do. I don't want my kids to not prioritize themselves and their families, nor do I want them to feel like they are obligated to saying yes to everything that I might invite them or their families to do later on down the road. So I'm going to start figuring out ways of stepping up and showing my kids what I'm prioritizing and how I'm making those decisions because somewhere along the way, um, we have prioritized other people before ourselves. And while that is godly, and this is where I get conflicted, right? As being a Christian woman, It is so important to put others before us, right? That is what we are taught. And you want to be selfless. So I get the confliction and I get the dedication to family and wanting to show up and do all the things and be all the places. But what are we doing to ourselves or to our families if we are not pouring from a full cup? Because certainly you only can give so much before you're empty. And how do you refill your cup if you are on empty and saying yes to everything? You have to prioritize the things that fill your cup back up, right? I mean, it's just common sense, but it's such a hard topic. And I struggle with this and go back and forth between the angel and the devil, so to speak, on my shoulder. Like, how do we make this balance? It's so tough. So I don't know, right, wrong, or indifferent. I am telling you, you need to prioritize yourself as well and make sure you are filling up your own cup, having those date nights, having those, moments as a family and not going to all of the things that you are invited to. So I said it and it is what it is. And I'm also going to go there while I'm out on this tangent and say, I know it can't just be me that feels like there are family members in your family that are not held to the same standard that you are with attendance. Like, if I can't make it somewhere or I have to leave early, there is just like this obvious sigh and disappointment and heaviness to a room. But if there are other family members who can't attend or have to slide out early, it's totally acceptable and okay. So there, I don't know. Every family's got to have that, right? I know that's not just me feeling that. And why is that? What is it that we can learn about those other people? What are they doing that makes it acceptable for them to live their lives? Because, man, I am a little jealous and I need to figure out what it is that they're doing or saying or not doing or not saying that allows that to be their normal, and not mine or yours. So, you know, we all have them, right? We all see that happen. And while I absolutely love that everybody wants me everywhere and wants my children to be a part of everything, we just can't do it. And I just feel like the more I start to dive into our family of four and pour my energy into our family of four, the more it feels like I am tearing away at the outer edges. And I just don't want that. That is not what I'm trying to do. So please support people when they can't show up and they have other things going on. Please understand that it's not that they don't love you or that they don't want to be there. It's just that life is busy and schedules are different these days. I do just truly believe that. Whether it's right or wrong, kids' sports schedules alone are insane. They are pure chaos. And while I wouldn't trade it for the world, I don't think that every family member understands and respects the crazy that is sports schedules with these kids these days. And we are not just using it as a sorry excuse. It truly is a whole family involvement to support a little athlete in your home these days or whatever activity they're doing. It just is a bigger thing than what I ever remember sports or activities being in the past. Or I just didn't get it then and I get it now. But to close out our episode and wrap it all together, give yourself a little grace this summer. Make the memories, yes, but not at the cost of your peace. Let your kids be bored. Let them pitch in. Let yourself rest. And remember that some of the sweetest moments are the ones we don't overplan. If you loved this episode, please share it with another mama who needs a reminder that she's doing great and that she's not alone. And I'd love to hear your favorite summer memories, whether they be yours as a kid or something sweet you've done with kids of your own. Remember, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or TikTok, and also listen to past episodes on my website, jenniferkwapis.com. Until next time, have a magical, messy, and beautiful week. I'll see you next time.